Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a new star striker. We're doing okay at Sunderland, but we're really having a poor run of form. Hello and welcome back to our Zero to Hero series, where we are playing with Sunderland, where, as I mentioned, we're in a little bit of a poor run of form. Since you were last with me, where we had our 2 wins to open up the season, we then lost 2 on the trot, so we lost 2-1 to Preston in the Championship, who just seem to be our little bit of a bogey team in this series. And then, really annoyingly, we lost to Grimsby in the Carabao Cup, getting knocked out of that, which is bad enough. But the fact we lost to Grimsby is disgusting. We managed to beat Huddersfield, but then we arrived in September. We drew against Sheffield Wednesday. We've lost to Peterborough and Millwall without scoring any goals. And then we've managed to beat Blackburn 3-1 with some tactical tweaks. Today we're going to be playing Ipswich, who are 9th, and Coventry, who are 13th. But since you were last with me as well, we have done some more transfers. We saw out the end of the transfer window. On the outside, the more important things, Hayden Farmer has gone out on loan to Barnsley, I believe it was, who are down in League One, just to get a little bit of game time this season, because he wasn't really going to get a lot with us. Zach Emerson has also left the club, going over to somewhere, I believe, in Saudi Arabia. But I'm not actually sure. United Arab Emirates. He's gone over there for 3.9 million. We've made a nice little return on him, and given he only scored 3 goals last season, I didn't think he'd be likely to get a lot of game time. And then we sold a youth player, Luke Bell. We've invested that Zach Emerson money back into the team now in the form of 4 new signings since you were last with me. Luke Simon comes in on loan from Southampton. We actually wanted to purchase him, but we weren't able to do that. But at the moment, we're not paying any of his wages, and we have got an option to buy him for 3.6 million. I think if he does well this season, we probably activate that clause and buy him in the summer. We've then brought in our new striker, 19-year-old Chilean striker, Ignacio Vargas. He's got on quite well so far. 6 appearances, 4 goals, an assist, and a player of the match, and a 7 rating. I think is more like the striker we were looking for. If we have a bit of a look at him, he's best played as advanced forward, but he can play, look at that, he can play as a complete forward, ladies and gentlemen, which is lovely to see. His finishing is not great for a striker, but I feel like everything else about him is pretty decent. He apparently attempts overhead kicks as well. I haven't seen one of those yet. He cost us 2.7 million. We can see his value shot right up straight away. He's got international caps for Chile as well, both at under 20 level and full international level. And we're very, very excited to have him here. We then went and reinvested that money as well in a new defender. He can play at left back and right back equally well, because he is both footed. Jan Erik Reck, a German, like I said, left or right back. He came in from St. Pauli over in the 2 Bundesliga. He cost us 1.3 million to activate his release clause, but he does look like he'd be quite decent. I mean, he's not quite there yet, but I think he does a job this season. And then our director of football brought in Mauricio Garcia, a Colombian 19-year-old, valued at 42 to 62 million by Manchester United. We're not paying any of his wages. Let's have a look at him. He's currently a Championship player, could be a Premier League player. He does want to play as a centre attacking midfielder, though, which leaves us with a little bit of a problem, because given our poor results with this formation, I mean, lots and lots of shots, we've changed over to a 4-3-3 because although we wanted to be more attacking, we were finding we were just conceding lots of goals and not actually scoring any. It's a completely clean sheet, custom made tactic as well as a 4-3-3. It's not, none of it at all is made from any sort of template. It is something I've just come up with based on the players we have and based on what I'm seeing in the match engine. So like, we haven't got a playmaker in the team anymore, but we have got a halfback. Which normally wouldn't be White. It would normally be Kofod/Anderson, depending if it's out of the match engine or in the match engine. But I think this will work a little bit better. I haven't actually tested it yet, so we are going to be doing that in today's games. As I mentioned, though, obviously Garcia, who's on loan for Manchester United, and I'm assuming they're expecting him to get some game time. It makes it a little bit more difficult because he wants to play in that central attacking midfielder role, although he can play as a box-to-box and a central midfielder as well. So there will be game time for him. Just maybe we don't prioritise starting him. This is going to be our lineup today. Anyway, we've got Peterson in goal. Peterson, let's have a quick look at him as well, because he's doing okay. I mean, he's conceded 9 in 7 appearances. We're still persisting with him, although we could return to Patterson, because Patterson, we have played 1 game with him. played one, conceded one, and got a 6.4, which wasn't fantastic. And more importantly, he's had his head turned because Fulham want him, and he's kind of demanding to leave at the moment. So we're not really prioritising playing him. We then got a back four as Maria, Mbete, Smith, and Casanova. Casanova now a fullback, as you can see. Smith, a ball-playing defender on a stopper role. We'll see if that works. We then got White in the half-back defensive midfielder position. Vangelis and Simon in front of him. We've got Nassi or Univar, depending, again, if it's in the match engine or whether we're looking here. He's had a reasonable start. Now he's not injured. 4 appearances. He's got himself a goal and a 6.9 rating. I mean, there's an argument that we don't play him and we play Jaden Anthony over there as the inside forward, who, again, he hasn't got any goals or assists and he's on about the same rating. So we're going to go with Nassi for the moment. We've then got Gutteridge over on the right and Vargas starting up front today. Luke Mbepe is lacking in match fitness. Well, Luke Mbepe is just going to have to crack on with it, if we're honest, because, you know, Ballard is unfit as well, and Ballard would normally be the player playing there. Unfortunately, we can't do that today. So that's kind of how we're lining up. As you can see, it's a 4-3-3. We'll see how it does in the match engine. We'll see how it does against Ipswich today. It might be that it performs a little bit better. It might be that this makes things work. Our big thing, of course, is the fact that we can't score goals. And actually, if we just go back to the results page a second, we use this match as an example against Millwall, where Millwall had 3 shots, 1 on target and 1-0, but we had 17 shots, 6 on target, an XG of 1.96, 56% possession. We're just not very good at scoring goals. Vargas is still settling in, both to the team and to probably English football as well. I think he came over from Chile. Was it Chile? I can't remember what nationality he is. So he's kind of settling in. We've put him up front as well at the moment, and we've kind of told him that he can roam from his position and do what he wants. Basically, his role is score goals. I don't care how he does it. Vangelis on the ball here. Vangelis from range for his 2nd goal of the season. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's been rubbish in the last few matches, like utter rubbish, to the point we had to go have a little quiet word with him in the office and go, lad, I've brought you over here because of how good you were at Forest Green, and you signed for West Brom, who at the time were a championship team getting promoted into the Premiership, but you can't continue playing like this because otherwise we're not going to be able to play you. But that's kind of what we wanted instantly. 1 shot, 1 goal. Now we just need to see if we can actually control the match. I mean, we're losing a little bit on possession here. If we have a look at the tactic quickly, just pause that. If we have a look at the tactic quickly, we are going slightly more direct with a view to trying to get it up to our front 3, who are all quite fast players. Vargas especially is a very, very speedy, pacey striker. So if we can get the ball up to him a little bit quicker, that's the idea, that the ball's over the top, maybe he can run onto. But we'll have to keep an eye on it because we don't want to be sacrificing possession either. We have got a corner here. Moreira going to be taking that one, swinging this one into the far post, looking for Kerr Smith. I think Kerr Smith drew a save from the goalkeeper there. I don't think it hit the post. And now Vangelis into the box, looking for someone at that near post, but it has been put out for a corner by an Ipswich defender, and now we're going to get a corner from the other side. Nassi taking this one, looking for Gutteridge, who is a very, very tall lad. His heading leaves a little bit to desire, but he is 6'5", Gutteridge, which is very, very tall, I feel, for someone who's specialises playing as a winger. You kind of think of them as maybe a smaller, pacier players, but I think he's actually the tallest player we have in this team. So we've put him at those posts for the corner in the hope that maybe if he can't head it in himself, maybe he can nod it across goal to someone waiting at the other post, or at least cause enough hassle that we manage to get the ball in the back of the net. We are getting messages here saying Kerr Smith is tired, but I'm looking down at the bottom of the screen. He doesn't look tired enough to take off yet. We're not really getting a lot of highlights in this second half, though, or we do seem to be in control at the moment. We probably should now have a look at taking Smith off. So Jensen Selt is going to come on for him. He's the better of all our defenders at being a ball-playing defender. And then Moreira can come off as well. And Eric Reck can come on for him on that left-hand side. Univar's probably tired as well. So Jaden Anthony comes on. So 3 changes there on the 67th minute. Vargas is not having a fantastic game either. He's on a 6.3 with a yellow card. But we're just trying to play him as much as possible. to allow him to settle in and hopefully sort of find his place in the team and find his feet. I think he started off pretty well. 4 goals. Well, this will be 4 goals in 7 games. I don't think that's an awful return for a striker who is A, very, very young and still learning, and B, obviously isn't used to the pace of the English game and the Championship being notoriously difficult as well there. That one is very, very lucky that it goes over and out for a goal kick, because Ipswich are still threatening. I mean, we've got the goal today, but we're definitely not in control of this match, I don't think. Gutteridge needs to come off as well now. Magne Hansen can come on for him, and Simon can come off. And let's bring on Garcia just to see out the last 10 minutes or so of this match. We encourage the team. You know, I think they're doing okay. Mbete now launching that ball forward, looking for Vargas. Vargas not even jumping for that one, not even attempted, but Casanova cuts out the ball forward by Ipswich, and now out to Anthony. Can Anthony cut it back into Vargas? He probably should have done. He now cuts it into Vargas. Ignacio Vargas with his 5th goal of the season. We said we were keeping him on to hopefully play him into some good form and get him used to the game, and that was a well-worked little bit of play, as it turns out. I said Anthony should have played it earlier, but as it turns out, he knows better than I do. Brings it forward long enough to draw the defender. Plays it into Vangelis, who then just very nicely passes it to Ignacio Vargas for our 2nd goal of the game. Vangelis has had a lovely, lovely game here. Got himself an assist and a goal. And we've looked a little bit better in that match than we have done in previous matches. Ignacio Vargas only got a 6.8 despite scoring in that one, which probably tells you how he looked the rest of the match. It puts us in 7th place then on 16th points. I mean, it's not fantastic. It's not exactly where we want to be yet. We'd like to be challenging for those playoff positions, but it will do as a start. Vangelis, being able to praise him and pat him on the head, that's quite important for us. Obviously, my favourite player from this save so far, bar maybe Lewis Nightingale, and we can't get him because he's a traitor and went elsewhere. And here we go then. This is the match against Coventry coming up. The lineup we're using is Pettersson in goal. We've got Maria Ballard coming back into the team. Smith and Casanova. Kofod/Anderson again comes in at the half-back position behind Vangelis and Simon. Nacy over on the left, Gutteridge on the right, and Vargas up front. So globally the same team. Couple of changes, which are the team. This is what I'd assume is our starting 11. For those of you wondering as well, Vangelis playing in Sukdi's currently injured in that position, so we can't play him anyway. And I think Vangelis is probably the better of the two, or at least the one with the most potential to be the better of the two. It's hard to tell. Sukdi's, again, is sort of settling in. And maybe hasn't had the best start to the season yet. Neither is Vangelis, to be fair. I mean, he looked really good in the last match, but that was kind of a rarity. He hasn't looked fantastic so far this season. If we can play him into some form and he can do what he did last match, then it'll be absolutely fine. He's going to be one of the better players at the team in the long term of this. We have not had a highlight in this first half. Are we going to go the entire first half without seeing a highlight at all? Cool, so a very boring first half then, we assume, against Coventry, because we've got absolutely nothing there. We look like we're in control of the tie, although, again, possession-wise, we look a bit naff. And we were playing slightly shorter before, so maybe we just drop that back to slightly shorter in the long term with this tactic, and it works a little bit better, because although I want those balls over the top, I'd rather they weren't at the cost of never having the ball and becoming a counter-attacking outfit. We don't want to be a counter-attacking outfit. We want to control the game and score goals. We have let Coventry in here, though, and luckily their striker just absolutely fumbles that one, really, and just kicks it way, way up into the stands. Right, we do need to make some changes here, because we're into the 70th minute. We've had one highlight. I don't think that's good enough. Gutteridge is going to come off again. Hansen, once again, going to come over here. It's the inverted winger, although I'd argue he probably needs to be the inverted forward on that side. So let's change him to an inside forward, sorry. And maybe we need to make a couple of other changes. He's not looking great over there, so Jaden Anthony can come over on the other side. Ballard's not having the best game either. So Jaden Sakete, no, Jensen Selt can come on for him. In fact, we probably changed those two round like that. And Vargas isn't having a great game, but we said that last time. And then he went and scored. So I think it's worth keeping him on here. Moreira here taking the throw over on the left for us, over to Anthony. Just a nice short throw to keep us in possession. Back to Keir Smith for just keeping hold of the ball here. We're fine with that for a minute. Just pick your spot when you see it. Someone needs to make a run. Anthony is going to be the man to do it. Anthony into Vargas. Once again, this is why we're keeping him on the field. Ignacio Vargas is there. Puts himself in the right position to receive the cross from Anthony and just absolutely smashes it into the back of the net, really. As I said, with this tactic, we have told Vargas to roam from his position if he needs to. I mean, he hasn't really there. He's dead central to the goal. But he has put it in the back of the net, and I think this is what we were missing. He's not necessarily having the best game out of possession, but when you do get the ball to him, he does seem to put it in the back of the net. Here we go again, just looking for Vargas, unable to find him that time, but we're suddenly looking a little bit better. Casanova into Hansen, and Magne Hansen gets his first goal of the season, and that, I don't know if that was just a match engine, but that seemed to really, really bend there. Maybe Magne Hansen over on the left might be an answer as well. On the right, sorry, might be an answer as well, because he is going to score more goals, I think, than Gutteridge. Gutteridge is more cross a ball into the box type player. Hansen, I think, is more likely to get us goals. Potentially. It's hard to know. We're still sort of playing around with this tactic at the moment. Right. Casanova is going to come off. We bring Young Eric Rek. Let's say his name right. Jan Eric Rek is coming over on the right-hand side. I think as well, maybe Moraria comes off and we just bring Harvey Wright on just to preserve his fitness, really. There's no real need to play Harvey Wright at left back, but he is one of the team leaders, I think. He's definitely one of the more influential players, so it's worth having him on the pitch as we just try and see out this result. Coventry have got a corner here. Smith is just going to rise above everyone and nod that one away, and now we've blocked the cross back in, and Pettersson going to come out and just get a hold of that ball and hopefully keep it for as long as possible before he decides to do anything with it. He is going to just boot it long, looking for someone. Vargas maybe was who he's looking for. Simon there has regained possession pretty instantly, and now Hansen, who you would assume has still got a decent amount of pace on him and a decent amount of energy, is coming forward. Hansen is into the box. Magne Hansen needs to start over on the right. I'm really sorry to Gutteridge, because he's been good so far this season, but Hansen has showed here we need to be playing with two inside forwards, and that's how we're going to win games. We're going to get goals just off of the wings here, because Hansen has come in. Admittedly, if you play him from the start, has he got as much energy? Can he run ahead of the defenders as well as he has there? Maybe, maybe not. We brought him in to be our striker. Vargas is fully taken that spot, but maybe Hansen has got a new lease of life over at the right of midfield. It does put us into 5th place now. West Brom, admittedly, do have a game in hand, but we are in the playoff positions, which is a good place to be. Peterborough and Blackpool, the two teams top. We did recently lose to Peterborough quite emphatically, if I remember rightly. We lost 3-0 to Peterborough. We play West Brom shortly, QPR shortly, Sheffield United and Stoke. I mean, that is a very, very hard month of October. West Brom, QPR, Sheffield United and Stoke. We then come back for Middlesbrough and Blackpool. We'll probably come back maybe around here. Maybe we'll play through a little bit more to sort of the Reading, Forest Green games, because I don't think we need to make this season too long. But we'll kind of see how we're getting on before we judge that. Of course, if you are excited what we're doing here with Sunderland, which is pretty much a youth rebuild at this time, it's a very, very young team, then please do drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.